Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Democracy 3. My name, of course, is Over Potato. We set off on a little mission in the last episode, and that is the mission to increase the membership of the number of socialists in an independent Scotland, which is sort of the playthrough that we are doing at the moment. And you know, last turn, we actually got rid of the small business grant. We just completely wiped it out, and it seems to be working. We can see a slight difference in the number of socialists. As you can see, that line is slightly ticking upwards, so that is great to see. The basic income guarantee takes 20 turns to actually be implemented, so hopefully, when that is fully implemented, we're going to see a 20% increase in the number of people joining the socialism group. Obviously, capitalists, really not a fan of us, and we just want to try and eliminate all of the sources that capitalists have to increase members. So basically, we want to get rid of the small business grant, which we already did, and we also want to get rid of the enterprise investment scheme, which we are scaling back as far as I can remember. Scale it back a little bit more. There we go. Scale, scale, scale. Perfect. All right. We also unfortunately have this chemical plant explosion that is just ongoing at this current time. Is that an issue? Not at all. Not in the slightest. Our GDP is great. Our reserves are fantastic. Our GDP could be a little bit better though. That's not great. Fingers crossed that it actually recovers next turn. How's the global economy looking? Global economy is actually looking pretty trash at the moment. So it's no wonder that the economy is not perfect, but we could at least hope for something a little bit more enlightening. We want to continue experimenting with policies, see what we can actually roll out. More stuff to hopefully increase membership of socialists. Homeless assistance program. Yeah, I guess we can do this. Is this even worth doing? I mean, it's just going to upset the capitalists a little bit more. Yeah, I suppose we can implement it. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, but you know, hey ho, it helps. Every little helps. And if we're making the socialists happy and the capitalists unhappy, then we know that we are doing something remotely correct. Let us actually allow this drilling so that capitalists can be at least a little bit more happy with this. Let's give the capitalists something to rally around while we just slash their membership. Fingers crossed anyway, that's what happens. Pollution. Pollution is, well, yeah, it looks like it's going to be finishing next turn. I presume that this was probably because of the oil drilling thing that we allowed to happen for a turn. So that's a short-term thing that's not going to be of any major issue for us. How's our GDP looking? Our GDP is increasing slightly, so that's fine. That's all we really need to know. And extradite a terror suspect. Yeah, extradite him. It doesn't make a damn difference at all to us. We are running a budget deficit of £15 billion, but at the same time, that's fairly irrelevant considering we've got reserves that are just absolutely enormous. I mean, we could survive as a country for like 4 full turns on these reserves. So impressive to say the least. Impressive, impressive, impressive. There we go. Yeah. A one-child policy. Oh. Wow. Reduces poverty and stabilizes the fertility rate. This sounds pretty cool, you know? And apparently we can make money from this. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Winter fuel subsidy? Not really. This is sort of banded around a little bit in the UK as sort of a political kicking toy currently. I mean, people do get it, but every old person gets it. Like, irregardless of if you're rich or if you're poor. Ban second home ownership. Greatly increasing social equality and giving more people a good home. This seems a little bit extreme even for a socialist government. Yeah, it just seems a little bit over the top, and I don't think that's something that we'd really be interested in doing. What about something such as a work safety law? Like, I think this might be something that we're interested in doing. decrease the number of self-employed people, decrease self-employed membership, and increase trade union membership. Decrease productivity, though we don't really want to be doing that, although at the same time, I think it's good that this government is seen as pro-worker. You know what I mean? We need to be pro-worker, not pro-business. And we are on a policy spending spree, so we really are on a mission to ensure we just spend as many capital points. Capital points? Is that what they're called? I can't even remember what they're bloody called. Yeah, capital? Yeah, we just... Oh, yeah, political capital. That's the word that I was looking for. Yeah, we want to spend as much political capital as possible. And there's not really... It's not really that much we can sort of invest in. Mandatory microgeneration. Huh. Okay, let's have a look at this. Capitalists are going to hate us. Oil demand is going to go down. CO2 emissions are going to go down. Environmentalist membership is going to go up very, very rapidly. And capitalists are going to start to hate us. Well, what's new there, folks? What's new there? So, once again, we're sort of experimenting. We've got a lot of money to play around with, and it's sort of interesting, to say the least. GDP took a unusually big hit there, unfortunately. Didn't really want that to happen. It was, of course, because of the market meltdown, and socialism is going to be increasing in membership. Wow! Wow, what an increase. We've gone from about 58% to 68% in a matter of turns. That is rather rapid, to say the least. We are still running a budget deficit. That's okay. In a socialist country, budget deficits are still fine. You know, still fine. Doesn't really make that much of a difference. We've got the reserves to deal with our economic plight, and that is perfect, really. That is really, really good. Now, I'm worried about some sort of a capitalist anti-socialist group developing, but fingers crossed, that will not be the case. Now, how many turns away are we from solving this chemical plant explosion? Because this single chemical plant is responsible for 7.5% of our GDP, apparently. That sounds a little bit like nonsense, if you ask me. But hey, whatever. I don't know why environmentalists would be furious, because there's nothing that we could have done. I mean, I suppose... there's absolutely nothing that we could have done, which is a real shame, so they shouldn't be annoyed at us. Just quickly, actually, let's have a look to see what achievements we haven't actually earned yet. Socialist paradise. Maybe that's something that we should be, maybe that's something that we should be going for. You never know. You never know. There's a lot of stuff in here. If there's anything that you guys actually want me to cover, want me to do an achievement run, you know, then maybe tell me in the comments. Tell me if you want to see it, because I could probably do, or try to do, important to note there, probably try to do anything, or try to do any achievement on that list there, because why not? Because I'm a cool dude like that. Now, let's continue on our policy extravaganza. Is there anything that we're interested in? Robots research grant. Not really interested in doing that. Home fabrication grants? Probably, yeah. Oh, fantastic. Capitalists are once again gonna dislike us. Let's fucking cancel it. It's not even worth it. It's just not worth it. It's simply just not worth it, unfortunately. And a smart meter program, energy efficiency. This is a no-brainer. Look, environmentalist membership, environmentalists, and energy efficiency all going up. You can't really go wrong with something like that, can you? You just can't. You absolutely cannot go wrong with something like that. All right, we are absolutely powering through these turns. It's fantastic to see, actually. Our reserves are, I don't want to say they're dwindling, but they are going down, and they've been going down consistently over the last couple of turns. Now, I'm going to blame almost all of the fact that that our reserves have been decreasing on the global economy, because, as you know, the global economy is trash. You can see it is literally bottomed out at the moment. So that's why we're doing so badly. But fingers crossed, once the economy actually just rises itself from its slumber and gets back on its feet, then we will be in an alright position. Now, a space program. A space program is something that we still need. Yeah, I was thinking about cancelling it just because, you know, we could save the extra money. But then I realised, no. Scotland actually needs a space program, doesn't it? I think it totally does. Now, law and order is a really, really difficult area to play around with because, for example, in my head anyway, socialists and capitalists. If somebody says they're a socialist, you're like, oh yeah, cool, you're a socialist. I mean, obviously, if you're an American, somebody says that they're a socialist, that's an entirely different argument. But for example, if I'm in the UK and I'm like, oh hey, I'm a socialist, and like, oh, I believe in equality for all, and stuff like that, and then somebody's like, oh yeah, no, I'm a free market capitalist, or I'm a capitalist or whatever, and then that person's like, oh yeah, I believe in the invisible hand of the market, and I believe that people should be free to do this and whatever, and businesses should do this and this. Cool. I get that. But when you're talking about law and order and you're sort of talking about liberals and religious people, that can be a really, really difficult issue. So we've already managed to clean most of the religious people. I say clean like it's a bad word, but we've managed to pretty much eradicate religious people from our lands, and that's something that we've done quite unintentionally, I think. So I don't really think it makes that much of a difference. I've got nothing against religious people, absolutely not at all. But it's just an observation. But what I mean by that is that if we wanted to enact almost any law and order policy, say for example, legalizing prostitution, that would make the liberals a little bit happier, but it would upset the religious community. Same with like private prisons or like tasers or something. Liberals will not be happy with that. They will absolutely not be happy with this. Secret courts. The liberals would be off their tits, right? General media censorship. Yeah, they would very, very much be against this. Anti-smoking regulations. In fact, you know what? Anti-smoking regulations, we should actually implement them. And I'll tell you why. It's because Scotland already has this deterrent images on cigarette packets. I don't know if it says on cigarette packets. I can only see deterrent images. But in Scotland, we've got restricted advertising. Yes, we have that. We've got banned on TV, radio, and billboards. I can't remember. We've also got health warnings. Absolutely, we do, like on signposts and stickers, and well, not on stickers, but like on signs and stuff around the place. And we've also got deterrent images actually on the cigarette packets. So this would be, for example, pictures of a lung that is blackened out by tar after a long life of smoking. It's a pretty fucking horrible image, if I'm honest, but maybe that works. Well, that's the situation that we're in Scotland anyway. And when I enact this policy, right, liberals will not be happy, right? They will not be happy with us because they believe in, the whole freedom thing, and anti-smoking regulations don't really do that justice, I'm afraid. So hey ho, that's just the reality of the situation. I'm surprised that we haven't had any. Oh, there is a Church of Christ group developing, the Human Rights Society. That looks like a liberal I think that is a liberal thing, actually. In fact, you know what, we can check that in the latest update. Yeah, they feed into the Freedom League and the Human Rights Society, and the Freedom League is actually looking pretty scary at the moment. There's a little bit of a threat assessment, although in fairness, I think this almost socialist utopia is actually looking pretty darn good. In fact, let's just check the membership for socialists. So obviously after that market collapse, the slowdown of this group of people gaining members slowed. It absolutely did slow, but it's going to continue to grow, and that's important. Capitalists, on the other hand, they are very, very unhappy, and their membership has been absolutely trashed. Absolutely trashed. It's going way, way, way down. We're going to select no change on speed limits because I think that's what would be the case. Cabinet government, congratulations, you've managed to steer the ship of state for 6 years without once having to resort to firing a minister or enduring the embarrassment of a resignation. Fantastic. Now that's 50% of the achievements we've actually unlocked. That's great to see. That's really, really good. School sponsorship. I think we're going to prevent sponsorship. I think that's quite a capitalistic idea. I don't think a socialist government such as the Scottish National Party, which we are playing as, would be super, super keen on that. 27 billion. 27 billion is a lot of money to be taking away for our reserves. Our reserves are they've now gone below the 500 billion pound mark, which is very, very worrying to say the least. That's hugely worrying, actually. I'm somewhat deterred from spending any more money, but at the same time, I realize we're a socialist country, so of course we're going to spend as much money as physically possible. As you can see, the Liberals, being up in arms about this whole anti-smoking legislation. Although tobacco usage looks like it's going to start falling a little bit more rapidly now, which is kind of nice because tobacco usage is one of those things that, I don't know, people do it, but they do it because of addiction purposes, not because they really, think they should be. And well, that's my opinion. Your opinion can obviously differ. But yeah, smoking, it's not a thing that the Scottish government is super enthusiastic about. Okay, this chemical plant explosion modifier is going to be ending next turn, which is actually really, really nice because we need this extra boost to GDP and to the productivity, which once again is going to give a boost to GDP. Now, yep, we see a little raise, and that is kind of nice. That is very, very nice. But once again, it's important to note that our economy is probably doing badly because of the global economy, right? So our GDP is doing poorly because of the global economic cycle. Boo-hoo-hoo. Nothing we can really do. Oh, I just got booed. What a shame. Food price crisis. Well, it's important to note that we did lose a little bit of GDP. So we lost 6% of our GDP, but we gained, I think it was 7.52% of our GDP. So that's where the little increase of about 1 or 2% is coming from there. That's the maths on it. Poor earnings, wow, absolutely shredded. Obesity is going to go down, I suppose. That's kind of nice, but that's not a modifier that we have access to at the moment because obviously it's not a crisis. And yeah, that's bad, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world. I mean, we will recover, we will pick ourselves up, and we shall continue in the same vein that we always have, and that vein is winning. Yes, winning. Now, we've actually done a spectacular job this episode because we've gone from here, right, to here, and over the course of those couple of turns, we've increased our percentage of the population that is socialist, and that is impressive. What have we gone from 58 to probably about 56 actually, 56 to 72. That's almost 20. Almost 20? Almost 20. Yeah, it's about 13, 14, 15, 16, whatever. So I think that is actually something that we can be very, very proud of. And I think that's actually probably going to be a really good point to round us out, because we're going to go out on a very, very positive note, knowing that we're safe in the fact that that we are converting a whole bunch more socialists to our cause. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for watching. My name, of course, has been Potato. You've been watching Democracy 3, and I'll see you next time. Bye.